Welcome to the Unitarian Universalist Church of Little Rock, where love is our teaching and service is our prayer, and we like to boogie down, too. My name is Chris Thompson, and I've been here for a while and sing in the choir, and would like to play my trumpet sometime. If you're a newcomer, we're glad you've chosen to worship with us. And while we're here, please stop by our guest table outside here in the foyer and pick up a guest card and pick up some information about our church. I now invite our illuminator, Crystal Amos, to come forward to light the chalice and lead us in our affirmation of covenant, which is printed in your order of service. Crystal.
Good morning. Okay, first of all, let me just take a look, because there's a lot of new faces in here, a lot of visitors. So I'm looking at everybody. Everybody is being seen. Okay, great. Whoever chose the prelude, on point, for several reasons. And Chris, I have never seen you be a PA. You're pretty good.
Well,
You're pretty
yeah,
good.
I've done it before.
Okay, but I've never seen you. Okay, so let me get to my job. Let me light the chalice. All right, so we light this chalice, symbol of light within us and around us. May this gathering for worship enlighten our hearts and our minds and our souls. And may the inner light of the Spirit be kindled by our time together. Amen. If you would join me in the affirmation of covenant, which is printed in your program, and let's say it together. Love is the doctrine of this church. The quest for truth is its sacrament, and service is its prayer. To dwell together in peace, to seek knowledge and freedom, to serve humankind in fellowship, to the end that all souls shall grow into harmony with the divine. Thus do we covenant with each other.
And just a quick correction in your program, Time Altogether says a Juneteenth story, but we're actually going to be listening to a poem written in 1935 by Langston Hughes entitled Let America Be America Again. Let America be America again. Let it be the dream it used to be. Let it be the pioneer on the plain, seeking a home where he himself is free. America never was America to me. Let America be the dream the dreamers dreamed. Let it be that great, strong land of love, where never kings connive nor tyrants scheme, that any man be crushed by one above. It never was America to me. Oh, let my land be a land where liberty is crowned with no false patriotic wreath, but opportunity is real and life is free. Equality is in the air we breathe. There's never been equality for me, nor freedom in this homeland of the free. Say, who are you that mumbles in the dark? And who are you that draws your veil across the stars? I am the poor, white, fooled and pushed apart. I am the Negro bearing slavery scars. I am the red man driven from the land. I am the immigrant clutching the hope I seek and finding only the same old stupid plan of dog eat dog, of mighty crush the weak. I am the young man full of strength and hope, tangled in that ancient endless chain of profit, power, gain, of grab the land, of grab the gold, of grab the ways of satisfying need, of work the men, of take the pay, of owning everything for one's own greed. I am the farmer, bondsman to the soil. I am the worker sold to the machine. I am the Negro, servant to you all. I am the people, humble, hungry, mean. Hungry, yet today, despite the dream. Beaten, yet today. Oh, pioneers, I am the man who never got ahead, the poorest worker bartered through the years. Yet I'm the one who dreamt our basic dream. In the old world, while still a serf of kings, who dreamt a dream so strong, so brave, so true, that even yet its mighty daring sings in every brick and stone, in every furrow turned, that's made America the land it has become. Oh, I'm the man who sailed those early seas in search of what I meant to be my home, for I'm the one who left dark Ireland's shore and Poland's plain and England's grassy lea, and torn from black Africa's strand I came to build a homeland of the free. The free? Who said the free? Not me. Surely not me. The millions on relief today? The millions shot down when we strike? The millions who have nothing for our pay? For all the dreams we've dreamed, and all the songs we've sung, and all the hopes we've held, and all the flags we've hung, the millions who have nothing for our pay except the dream that's almost dead today. Oh, let America be America again. The land that never has been yet, and yet must be the land where every man is free. The land that's mine, the poor man's, Indians, Negroes, me, who made America, whose sweat and blood, whose faith and pain, whose hand at the foundry, whose plow in the rain must bring back our mighty dream again. Sure, call me any ugly name you choose. The steel of freedom does not stain. From those who live like leeches on the people's lives, we must take back our land again, America. Oh, yes, I say it plain. America was never America to me, and yet I swear this oath, America will be. Out of the rack and ruin of our gangster death, the rape and rot of graft and stealth and lies, we, the people, must redeem the land, the mines, the plants, the rivers, the mountains, and the endless plain, all the stretch of these great green states, and make America again.
Good morning. I was hoping that you might join me in a moment of personal meditation on Juneteenth. If you want to take a moment to roll your shoulders back, get comfortable in your seat. If it's available to you, you can close your eyes for this and have your own personal moment. And if that's not available to you, that's okay. Maybe just find a spot in front of you to softly focus on. As Juneteenth approaches, the phrase that returns to me again and again in meditation is gratitude. Gratitude to my children's ancestors. I thank them as I harvest collards from our backyard garden with my children, who are the living embodiment of their ancestors' wildest dreams. My children, my biracial children, live in a covenant neighborhood, a clever ploy of 1960s suburbia designed to keep Black and brown renters out of quote-unquote upscale, aka white, communities. And yet, here we are, tending the soil and growing together. I teach my children about the resilience of the ancestors, how, as the story goes, some who knew they were about to be kidnapped and enslaved wove seeds into their braided hair. Collards, okra, melon, seeds that would grow into sustenance on the other side of the crossing, necessary sustenance. That resilience sustains us still, echoing through the foods that bring us together around our tables, even to this day. As we eat vegetable soup in the evening, I stir my bowl and I think of the lineage of Black women that made this meal possible. I am grateful for everything that they have made possible by their quick thinking and their will to survive and thrive. So much grows from a small seed. These seeds helped grow Frederick Douglass, Harriet Tubman, Martin Luther King Jr., Malcolm X, James Baldwin, Aretha Franklin, Whitney Houston, Dublin Imani, and Nia Sky. My children are only beginning to understand the injustices that we still face. So I remind them, and you, my friends, of the seeds and the braids and the way one small thing, nourished and kept safe, can grow and change everything. That a seed given time can move a mountain. That is the gift their ancestors gave them, that they gave us. And the gift continues. Every seed we plant now is one more thing for our children's children to be grateful for. My friends, take a breath with me, just in through your nose and out through your mouth. Take one more and breathe in and exhale gratitude for this wonderful lineage. And when you're ready, open your eyes and rejoin us in the space. Ashe, ashe. Thank you, friends.
I have the utmost privilege to introduce my friend Courtney Bradford. She is a curator, public historian, educator, and consultant who is passionate about preserving African American history and culture. As curator at the Mosaic Templars Cultural Center, she cares for a collection of more than 28,000 artifacts and develops exhibitions that bring history to life. She also teaches in the Public History Graduate Program at the University of Arkansas at Little Rock and works with communities, organizations, and families on preservation, genealogy, and local history projects. Her goal is simple: to help people discover, preserve, and share the stories that matter. Courtney Bradford.
Good morning. Good morning, everyone. Firstly, I so want to tell you all how beautiful this service has been so far. Similar to Kendi, I am raised in a Baptist church, and so it's very different from this service, but I loved it. I've been loving it. Y'all have really, truly blessed my spirit so far, and it is an honor to be with you all today as we gather to reflect on Juneteenth, a day of remembrance, celebration, and reflection. When many people think of Juneteenth, they think of a single date, June 19th, 1865. And on that day, Union General Gordon Granger arrived in Galveston, Texas, and issued General Order Number 3, announcing that enslaved people in Texas were free. But Juneteenth is more than a date. It is about a question. What does freedom actually mean? Because freedom did not arrive all at once. President Abraham Lincoln signed the Emancipation Proclamation on January 1st, 1863, declaring enslaved people in the Confederate States were free. Yet the proclamation could only be enforced where Union troops had the power to make it real. In many places, enslaved people continued to labor in bondage until the end of the Civil War. In Texas, freedom arrived more than 2 years later. Imagine that. For more than 2 years, freedom existed on paper, but not in daily life. For more than 2 years, people remained trapped in a system that legally should have ended. Juneteenth reminds us that freedom delayed is freedom denied. But it also reminds us of something equally important. When freedom finally arrived, people did extraordinary things with it. As a public historian, I spend my days working with artifacts, documents, and photographs. But the stories that stay with me the longest are the stories of the ordinary people. For me, Juneteenth is deeply personal because it causes me to think back on one of those people, my ancestor, Jefferson Bruce. Jefferson Bruce was born in Georgia in 1809, and when he entered the world, slavery was firmly entrenched in American life. The cotton economy was expanding, and millions of black men, women, and children were bought and sold as property. Jefferson Bruce was one of them. He was born more than half a century before emancipation. And think about what that means. He lived through decades of bondage. He lived through the expansion of slavery. He lived through the Civil War. He also lived long enough to witness freedom. As historians, we often talk about emancipation as a national event. But for people like Jefferson Bruce, emancipation was intensely personal. It meant waking up in a different world. Not a perfect world, not an equal world, but a different world. A world where new possibilities existed. After emancipation, Jefferson settled in Hart County, Georgia with his wife, Amanda. The census tells us he was a farmer. It also tells us that he could neither read nor write, something that was common among formerly enslaved people who had been denied educational opportunities throughout their lives. Yet, that is not where his story ends. Historical record shows that after freedom, Jefferson Bruce became a landowner. And by the 1870s, he owned approximately 200 acres of land. 200 acres. And whenever I encounter that fact, I pause. Because that number represents more than property. It represents possibility. A man who had once been considered property became someone who owned property. A man whose labor had enriched others spent the final years of his life building something for his own family. A man who had been denied control over his future was creating one. And when I think about Juneteenth, I think about that transformation. I think about what freedom made possible. Too often we talk about freedom as if it's merely the absence of oppression. But for formerly enslaved people, freedom was also the presence of opportunity. Freedom meant reuniting with families. Freedom meant establishing schools. Freedom meant founding churches. Freedom meant purchasing land. Freedom also meant building businesses. Freedom meant participating in civic life and creating communities that slavery tried to prevent. Across the South, newly freed people worked tirelessly to construct lives of dignity and purpose. Many built churches that became the centers of their communities. Others created schools because they understood that education is a pathway to freedom. Families searched for loved ones who had been sold away. But communities also celebrated emancipation through gatherings, parades, music, prayer, and storytelling. In ways, the earliest Juneteenth celebrations were acts of resistance. Formerly enslaved people were declaring that their freedom mattered, their history mattered, their humanity mattered. And they would not allow those truths to be forgotten. That commitment to memory is one of the reasons Juneteenth has survived. For generations, Black families and communities preserved this history long before it became a federal holiday. They organized annual celebrations. They passed stories from one generation to the next. They protected a memory that much of the nation ignored. As a historian, I find that to be remarkable because memory itself can be an act of freedom. To remember is to resist erasure. To tell a story is to affirm that a life mattered. To preserve history is to insist that future generations know where they came from. That is why Jefferson Bruce's story matters to me. He was not famous. He did not write a book. He did not lead an army. But most people will never hear his name. Yet his life tells us something important about freedom. His story reminds us that history is not only made by presidents and politicians. History is made by ordinary people who chose to build, to nurture, to create, and to hope. History is made by people who plant seeds whose harvest they may never see. Jefferson Bruce lived long enough to experience freedom, but he likely never imagined that generations later that one of his descendants would stand before a congregation and speak his name. And yet, here we are. Woo! We are here. His story survived. His legacy survived. His descendants survived. And that, baby, that is the power of freedom. Not simply that it changes one life, but that it creates possibilities for generations to come. Today, as we celebrate Juneteenth, we are invited to consider our own relationship to freedom. What does freedom require of us? What responsibilities come with it? How do we ensure that others have access to the dignity and opportunity that we seek for ourselves? As Unitarian Universalists often remind us, every person possesses inherent worth and dignity. Juneteenth challenges us to take those words seriously, you all. It reminds us that freedom is not simply something that we inherit. It is something that we nurture. It is something that we protect. It is something that we expand. And it is something that we share. The first people who celebrated Juneteenth understood this. They knew freedom was fragile. They knew progress was not guaranteed. But they also knew that freedom was worth celebrating, worth protecting, worth passing on. And as we leave today, I hope we carry with us the story of Juneteenth and the story of Jefferson Bruce. One tells us about a nation struggling to fulfill its promises. The other tells us about those promises, what those promises looked like in the life of a single man. Together, they remind us that freedom is never just a political idea. Freedom is personal. Freedom is communal. Freedom is generational. And freedom is always unfinished work. May we honor those who came before us. May we preserve their stories. And may we continue the work of building a more just, compassionate, and free world for those who will come after us. Happy Juneteenth, amen, and be blessed. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
We've got some percussion instruments, so our offertory is going to be a communal drum circle. So James is helping pass out, doing the Vanna White. So if you want a drum, if you want a percussion instrument, come on up. We got a basket of small percussion. We can just pass that up and down the aisle. We can get going. And nothing better than coming together as a community, making some music together, and enjoying each other's company. So while we're getting everything together, I'll start a little groove. You can join in, and we'll go from there.
doing that, keeping the groove going, there's also a song of welcome that goes along with this rhythm. So the words are very simple. We'll do a little call and response. They're Fanga, Alafia, Ashe, Ashe. So I'll sing one line. Wherever you are, you can sing it on back to me so we can get that in our ears. So we'll listen first. 1, 2, 3. Fanga, Alafia, Ashe, Ashe. Fanga, Alafia, Ashe, Ashe. Perfect. Once again. Fanga, Alafia, Ashe, Ashe. Fanga, Alafia, Ashe, Ashe. Let's try it together. Fanga, Alafia, Ashe, Ashe. Fanga, Alafia, Ashe, Ashe. Here we go. Fanga, Alafia, Ashe, Ashe. Fanga, Alafia, Ashe, Ashe. Thank you, Cater.
I invite you to remain standing as I invite Crystal back up to extinguish our chalice as we join together in saying our closing words. Go out into the world in peace. Have courage. Hold on to what is good. Return to no person evil for evil. Strengthen the faint-hearted. Support the weak. Help the suffering. Honor all beings.
And if I might just say, because I too come from the Baptist tradition, the doors of the church are now open. And that means that that's just an invitation for you all to please join us again.
Thank you.